everyone, and welcome to the RS Technical Solutions Tech Talk. I'm your host, Miguel Gudino from RS Americas, and today we're going to be discussing with Phoenix Contact on their Ethernet switches and the variety of options that comes within this line. So with our very special guest joining us virtually here today, Ken, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do at Phoenix Contact.
Great. Thanks, Miguel. I appreciate you guys having me on today. My name is Ken Austin. I'm Associate Marketing Manager for Ethernet Infrastructure. I have product responsibility in managed and unmanaged switches, power over Ethernet products, things like patch panels, media converters, and some other odds and ends along the way.
Gotcha.
I've been with Phoenix Contact for 17 years this year, and just having a great time.
Well, really excited to have you here, Ken. Thank you for joining us. So now, to kick off, could you let us know what Phoenix Contact's role is in the Ethernet switch industry?
Sure. In the Ethernet switch industry, first and foremost, we are the worldwide leader in unmanaged switches. We have held that for several years now, and we have developed such an expertise and a following with the unmanaged switches. It's not to say we don't sell managed switches as well, but we've really made our mark since coming out with our first unmanaged switch back in the early 2000s.
Well, really impressive to know Phoenix Contact's reach in the industry. Now, I want to quickly go over the type of Ethernet switches. It's a question I get asked frequently with customers when talking about, hey, should I go with a managed switch or an unmanaged switch? Now, I know that Phoenix Contact carries both, right? So can you go ahead and explain the difference between these types of switches?
Sure. To start, if you look at the unmanaged switches, that is the simplest by far product in the portfolio.
Right.
An unmanaged switch, you basically power it up, you make your connections, and as long as you follow one simple rule and don't make any loops in the network, you're good to go. Then when we go across to managed devices, what we see there is a whole host of additional functions and features that are available to the user. Now, at the base, at the core, both of them do the same thing. They learn the network and they forward traffic to the destination. But when you get into the managed devices, you get the ability to have so many other features. You get abilities in areas of like security, where from very simply you can disable unused ports after you deploy your network, all the way up to having a remote qualification of user credentials on a Radius server. Additionally, when you get into things like diagnostics, you get a whole host of features where you can analyze the number of frames, the type of frames that are going across any port. You can be alerted to errors in your frames that can be early warning signs for problems in the network. And the biggest of all, what we still see as the biggest driver for the use of managed switches, and that's redundancy. The ability to have that self-healing network, to be able to have those backup connections in the event that you lose a connection, is just so important to some users. And Miguel, features like the security and the diagnostics and the redundancy, they can all be found on any of our managed switches. But the one that we like to promote a lot is our FL Switch 2000 series. It's a group of products. It's over 60 devices available with various formats, various port counts, different types of fiber available. So that is really our main go-to on the managed side.
Well, thank you for going over that. That is a very common question we get asked. So really appreciate you explaining it a little bit in detail. So what type of customer or application would use a unmanaged switch versus a managed switch? Do you have any examples of that?
Sure. The biggest one would be machine builders. We see a large usage of unmanaged switches in the machine builders. And basically, you have to look at it from a standpoint that their requirement is to get the connections done, get a machine done, and get it out to their end customer. So what they're looking for is the most economical method of making connections, all the connections in that small network that they were ultimately going to ship out. When it turns to having end users involved in the network planning, that's most often when we see the more of a benefit placed and more of a premium placed on using managed switches in that network.
Well, appreciate you going over that. Those examples there will really help paint a picture for our viewers on when to use a unmanaged switch versus a managed switch. Now, let's go ahead and talk a bit more about the product solution that Phoenix Contact has regarding Ethernet switches. Let's say I want a simple plug-and-play solution, right? Where my PLC can communicate with my Profinet devices, right? What would you recommend first?
Well, certainly I would recommend an unmanaged switch. And you mentioned a key thing, Profinet in there.
Right.
Very often in a Profinet network, there may be a requirement for managed switches, but depending on the network that it is, you said a very simple network connecting a PLC to some Profinet devices. Our 1000 series switch has some key functionalities that are built into it that will automatically prioritize automation protocols, not just
Right.
Profinet, but it
Nice.
can also do Ethernet IP, it can do Modbus. So it can automatically, and this becomes very important when you have high incidence of low priority traffic in your network. What it can do is it can take those automation frames and bump them up to a higher priority in the network.
Right. Right. Okay. Really, really nice to know that. Now, let's change it up a bit. Let's say we're in an environment that's harsh, right? Maybe where the temperature is a little bit above average, right? And this environment, it has a lot of moist and dust, right? Is that something that Phoenix Contact have in their portfolio that can handle that?
Absolutely. Again, in the 1000 series, if we're talking unmanaged, in the 1000 series, we have our devices that are set for extended temperature.
Mm,
They have a metal base housing as well as a metal DIN foot, as opposed to plastic in the base models. And what they do is they've got additional approvals. They have triple HAZLOC ratings. They have marine approvals. These are the devices that are set up for the harsh areas. Additionally, if you go even past that, or if let's say the devices are going to be outside the panel and in a rugged environment, we
mhm.
also have the 1000 series extends into IP67. We have the 1600 and 1700 portion of the series that has IP67 for high vibration areas, for areas where you may have machine mounted Ethernet switches. This can handle all of that, and as well as an extended temperature rating.
Nice, nice. Well, really awesome to see that Phoenix Contact has solutions to cover these type of harsh environments. So something that we are seeing frequently nowadays are PoE switches, right? To save money and to make it more simplified connectivity to these devices, right? What can you go ahead and explain what are PoE switches and what does Phoenix Contact have to cover PoE capabilities?
Well, Miguel, PoE has been a hot topic for several years now, and
Mhm.
it just keeps gaining more and
Yes.
more momentum as the years go by. Um, to make it simple, PoE is the concept of combining the power to an end device along with the signal, all on the Ethernet cable.
Okay.
So what does this present for the end user? Well, first of all, it presents a lower total cost of ownership. to make an installation, let's say you have to install an access point in an area of the plant,
Right.
and it can be powered by PoE. All you need to do is you need to run an Ethernet cable out there from your PoE switch.
Yeah.
You don't
Nice.
have the installation cost. You don't have to have an electrician run power to the area. Additionally, you've got easy handling. You don't have electrical and data separately. You've got them all combined on the one cable. You also have flexibility. Let's say that access point that you installed previously now is better suited in a different location of the plant. Well,
Right.
you don't have to do another installation. All you have to do is move that device and either draw back, reroute the Ethernet cable, or run a new Ethernet cable to that location.
Mhm. Nice.
Um,
Nice.
yeah. Additionally, you get reliability and availability with power over Ethernet. Think of it this way: you can have one centralized UPS that is now not just powering the switch that's powering the end device, but also supporting that end device as well. And one more thing, Miguel, we're about to add a group of parts to the 1000 series, again with the 1000 series, that are PoE capable, and they're going to support standards up to 90 watts per device.
Okay, that's amazing to hear. Looking forward to seeing that on your portfolio. Now, really amazing to hear that Phoenix Contact is able to cover harsh environments and PoE applications. Now, what would you say sets your Ethernet switches apart from the competitors in terms of quality and performances? Why should our viewers consider Phoenix Contact as their first option for Ethernet switches?
Good question. I'd have to say that it's related to the switches, but it transcends the switches.
Okay.
It permeates through all our products. And the one thing that I would want to point out, or the main thing I would want to point out, is the limited lifetime warranty that we have on our products. And we do have it on our switches. With that, we all know that nobody's perfect,
Mhm.
and there will be some failures in the field. But with the LLW, the limited lifetime warranty, all the customer has to do is register the company. They don't have to register each product that they buy from us. They just have to, we do all the work. In the event of a problem, we do all the work. And
Right.
we have that level of confidence in the product that we will offer that up to a customer. And as long as they're utilizing proper power and protection
Mhm.
on the devices, it's a no-brainer for them.
Right. Right.
Ad-
Well, really
Additionally,
good. Oh,
sorry,
go ahead.
sorry. Additionally, we have the service and support to back it up. We have our tech service group. We have our people in the field that are all highly knowledgeable on
Yes.
supporting the products. Additionally, we have engineering services. So if you have a customer that gets a very complex type application and they're really not sure that they are the ones to do all the work on that, we do have engineering services that can assist with that as well.
Right. Well, really good to know that Phoenix Contact prides itself on its quality of the product. So good to hear about the a lifetime warranty also. Well, Ken, that pretty much takes care of all the questions I had for you today. But before we sign out, where would you recommend our viewers to learn more about Phoenix Contact and their Ethernet switches line, both unmanaged and managed switches?
Well, two places.
Mhm.
Definitely go to the website. Go to the website and you can find the Ethernet switches on the website.
Gotcha. Mhm.
Additionally, our Ethernet brochure is a tremendous asset and full of information, not just about the products, but potential applications, potential situations that that devices can be used in, and is not just for Ethernet switches. It covers a whole host from security products to installation products, everything in between. It is the Ethernet go-to.
Gotcha. Thank you for that, Ken. Now, any final thoughts that you would want to say?
Well, first off, I want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to reach out to RS and being able to talk about the Ethernet switches with you, and just let me know if there's anything else I can do.
Of course, of course. Well, I want to thank you for your time, Ken. Really appreciate you going over with us on Phoenix Contact's Ethernet switches, both unmanaged and managed, and the variety of applications that these Ethernet switches can actually go into. And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Remember to go ahead and check out RS and Phoenix Contact for your future network applications. And we'll catch you next time on the RS Technical Solutions Tech Talk.